And I'm gonna sneeze. Hey kittens, it's Megan, and today I'm doing a review on The Kinder Poison by Natalie May. The Kinder Poison is the story of Zeru, a young whisperer with the ability to speak with animals. She has wanted adventure her entire life, but because of her low station in life and her abilities, the most she can expect is a job at the royal stables. Well, at this time, the king has decided that one of his heirs must ascend the throne, and so he resurrects an old tradition called the crossing. This is a death-defying, days-long race across the desert that will be capped with human sacrifice, and the first of his heirs to reach the cave at the other end of the desert, commit the sacrifice, will then unlock untold power and become the next ruler of the kingdom. Zeru really doesn't care about this. All she wants is one night of fun before she has to resign herself to her fate, which is, day in, day out work at the stables. So she sneaks into the celebration that takes place the night before the race starts, in which all of the heirs will be choosing their teams. Well, while she is at this celebration, she manages to get in between two of the feuding heirs and finds herself named as the human sacrifice. So now she is in a lot of trouble, and the only way she can survive this is to try and outwit the three most deadly people in the kingdom. I really liked Zeru as the main character. She spends a lot of the novel bringing out the best in the heirs and those around her, and she also goes through this whole transformation internally from, a victim to a survivor / hero in her own right, even as, the knife gets closer and closer to killing her. So she spends this whole time just trying her best to make a difference before it's over. Casta is the eldest of the three heirs, and he is also the most hardened. He has spent his entire life trying to gain his father's approval, which his father has never given him, and he has always been pitted against his younger brother, Jet. Jet wants nothing to do with the race. He wants, to forfeit at the beginning and just have it over with, let his brother become king or let his sister become queen, and just let him live his life how he wants to live his life. And then there is Sakura. She has this whole party girl persona, and nobody's ever expected anything from her. So not only is she putting on this party girl front, but she's also got this inner well of strength, and she is desperate to prove that she can do the job. I really enjoyed all of these characters because they were all morally gray. They were all torn between doing what is right and doing what is best for the kingdom, and, Zeru makes them all question their beliefs and their choices. Each of these characters was very layered, and none of them had any real black and white to them. They each had their own struggles, and they all were coming to terms with their futures throughout the entire novel. There was no real break in the pacing of this novel, which was a little bit of a disappointment. I mean, it was very fast-paced, it was a page-turner, but I think it would have benefited a little bit from lulls where we would have more character development instead of this fast-paced, here's a little bit of character development, but let's speed on to the next part. She's got to go to the next heir or something like that. And I really think that it might have benefited from a little bit of a break in the pacing, but overall, Page Turner was a great concept. I enjoyed the plot a lot. I mean, it was layered itself. It had the, the fast-paced story, the action, everything on top, but it also had that layer that made you think about morality and the choices that people make, whether it's for their own good or for the good of those around them, and what kind of person they become. And I really did enjoy having a novel that did bring out that, morality discussion without shoving it down your throat. The writing style was awesome. The way that Natalie May has of world building was very interesting because it wasn't all, all the time, here's the world, this is amazing, this is amazing, no. It was, built up very broadly, but every so often there were these moments where I would have to pause and be like, oh, that's really cool. That's amazing. Because she has this way of world building that just builds these layers of your senses into the story. And it's not an all the time thing. So in those moments, you really kind of have to step back and say, that was well done. The ending itself is a cliffhanger. I did not see it coming. I was very, shocked when it did happen. and I was very bummed that I didn't already have the next novel on hand to read. So I am definitely going to be reading more from Natalie May, and I enjoyed it a lot. I ended up giving this book 4 out of 5 stars, which definitely it deserved it. I think that it's one that a lot of people will enjoy. There really isn't a niche group that would enjoy this over another. If you like fantasy, if you like adventure, pick it up. It's great. That's it for this review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like what you hear on my channel, if you like my talking about books, think of subscribing, clicking that button, turning on the bell notification to be notified when I post new videos every Wednesday and Friday. And I am excited to continue on my journey as a reader and as a consumer of books. So I want to know if you guys have read this book, or how you feel about morality stories. Comment down below. I'd love to hear from you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!